A female student who recently transferred to a high school meets the principal. Her name is Mcari, a model who sometimes appears on TV. She just returned from a photo shoot abroad, while looking out the window where she sees Masamune walking. She then remembers her past when she was crying alone in a park, shouting, "I hate senpai and manga." In her heart, Mcari also says, "I also found the senpai I hate." Mcari leaves the principal's office and heads to her class. The students in the hallway are amazed to see her, not expecting a famous model to attend their school. When she arrives at her class, a male student asks for her autograph. Mcari willingly gives her autograph. Seeing this, other students also start asking for her autograph. They are surprised to find out that Mcari is actually kind. Mcari then asks one of the students if there is a manga club at the school. The student she asked is unsure about the existence of a manga club. Another student then says that they also like reading manga. However, Mcari says that she hates manga. Elsewhere, Masamune is seen walking sluggishly. He is still thinking about what happened yesterday when he accidentally touched Ririsa's chest. He tries not to think about it and acts normal. Masamune then opens the door to the manga club room and finds Ririsa already there. He enters but feels very awkward. Ririsa is also confused, wondering why her heart is beating fast. Masamune starts the conversation by saying that it was very noisy this morning. Ririsa responds by saying that it was because a new transfer student joined her class, and she is a famous model who is very beautiful. Masamune is surprised that Ririsa is aware of it too. With sparkling eyes, Ririsa says that the new student, being a model, would be perfect for cosplaying as Liliel's demon friend, Muriella. Masamune realizes that this is what she meant. Ririsa continues, saying that if she could invite her, it would be a perfect cosplay. Ririsa then grabs something from the club room, which turns out to be a camera. She thinks it's a good camera. When Masamune tries it, the club's camera still works. Because Ririsa feels helped by Masamune, she wants to help him if he needs anything from her. Ririsa then asks Masamune if there is anything he wants to do. Masamune responds that he wants to do a photo shoot. Of course, Ririsa is surprised. Masamune says that it would be his first time doing a cosplay photo shoot, but he thinks it would be fun. Ririsa starts to cry, feeling very happy and grateful. She thought Masamune was forced to do it, but it turns out he wasn't. With great enthusiasm, Ririsa immediately takes off her skirt, but then remembers that there will be an inspection today, so she didn't bring it. However, Ririsa doesn't run out of ideas. She then invites Masamune to an unused classroom, bringing the camera she just found. She says she wants to test the camera there. Masamune feels nervous, trying to calm himself down. He will only be photographing Ririsa, not Liliel. Ririsa starts posing in her school uniform while Masamune takes pictures of her. When she looks at the photos, Ririsa appears gloomy and disappointed. She says it's not because of Masamune's photography, but because she hates seeing photos of herself. Masamune tries to comfort Ririsa, saying that school uniforms often appear in manga, and he thinks the photos turned out quite well. Hearing this, Ririsa becomes enthusiastic again. She just needs to imagine herself cosplaying as a character in a manga who wears a school uniform. Ririsa lifts her skirt, removes her glasses, and applies makeup. While sitting on the desk, she poses and asks Masamune if she looks like a character in a manga. Masamune's heart races. Ririsa then changes her pose to look more like a manga character. While trying another pose, Ririsa accidentally drops her glasses. She bends down to pick them up from under the desk. Masamune seizes the moment, remembering a scene with a clumsy female character. As she stands up, Ririsa accidentally bumps her head on the desk, feeling dizzy and falling on top of Masamune. Masamune becomes very nervous, apologizing to her, but Ririsa seems even more excited. She says it feels like fanser is often seen in the manga she reads. Of course, Masamune didn't expect Ririsa to become so excited. Masamune's face turns red and he tries to pick up the camera that fell not far from him, but he faints before he can grab it. They finish the photo session and try to review the results. Masamune is confident in his photos, sure that they will meet Ririsa's expectations. When Ririsa sees the photos, her face turns red. Many of the photos show her underwear. Ririsa says that underwear is not part of a cosplay costume, so she feels very embarrassed and asks Masamune to delete them. Masamune agrees. Shortly after, there is an announcement over the speaker asking Ririsa to come to her classroom for mandatory tutoring. Ririsa had forgotten about it and runs away quickly, leaving Masamune behind. Masamune then reviews his photos, deleting them one by one, except for one photo showing Ririsa's face. He considers it a memory of their club activities. Elsewhere, many students gather to see Mcari. She is in the club building. Among the crowd, a female student struggles to pass through while carrying a bucket of water. She has an idea to put the bucket on her head and begins to walk through the crowd. However, she accidentally slips and spills the water all over Mcari. She apologizes to Mcari. Mcari feels embarrassed and quickly runs away from the scene. In the club room, Masamune is relaxing and watching a DVD. He feels like something is missing when watching alone. Suddenly, there is a commotion outside the manga club room. Masamune checks it out and, upon opening the door, comes face to face with Mcari. She stopped in front of the door, curious about the manga club. Both of them are equally surprised. Unexpectedly, Mcari smiles and immediately hugs Masamune. Then she says, "Finally." Mcari then recalls an event from 5 years ago, where young Mcari asked young Masamune if he had a crush on someone. With determination, young Masamune answered, "Of course, I love Liliel. She will never betray me." Hearing this, young Mcari was very shocked. Later, when she was alone in the park, she shouted loudly that she hated Masamune and Manga. Back in the present, many students are still chasing and looking for Mcari. Masamune then closes the door and hides with Mcari. He realizes that the famous model who just transferred to his school is Mcari. Mcari then thanks Masamune for helping her. Masamune is confused about why Mcari suddenly hugged him earlier. Mcari explains that she just wanted to know if Masamune had started to like her or not. Masamune is very surprised to hear this. But suddenly, Mcari sneezes. Masamune notices that Mcari's clothes are soaking wet, so she asks permission to stay in the manga club room for a while until her uniform dries. Facing the wall, Masamune reads a manga while Mcari is behind him, taking off her wet clothes one by one. She keeps trying to tease Masamune. However, Masamune tries not to be tempted. After taking off all her clothes, Mcari lies down on the club chair, saying she worked late last night. Even while on the chair, Mcari continues to tease Masamune. She says she enjoys teasing Masamune because he never saw her as a girl. Then Mcari asks if she looks cuter now. Masamune replies that she has always been cute. Mcari then says she has changed. She has become cuter, more stylish, and a famous model. She feels she is no longer a child. Masamune sees Mcari playing with her hair with both hands. He then says that Mcari hasn't changed, as she still has the same habits since they used to play together as kids. Mcari feels very embarrassed, stands up, and forgets that she hasn't put on any clothes. Masamune, shocked, tries not to look at her, but slips on a comic book, falling on top of Mcari. Masamune apologizes and tries to get up, but Mcari doesn't let him go. She is grateful that they can be this close. Mcari wants to stay like that for a little longer. Her face turns red. Masamune then gets up and takes off his jacket. Mcari becomes very shocked and embarrassed, saying that she is not mentally ready. But it turns out that Masamune just puts his jacket on Mcari, saying she might catch a cold if she stays like that. Masamune then turns around and picks up the Liliel manga he had stepped on earlier, apologizing to Liliel for stepping on her. Mcari can only watch in astonishment. With a sigh, she says that Masamune is beyond help. Mcari's clothes are finally dry, and she begins putting them on. As she dresses, she asks Masamune if he has a crush on someone now. Masamune thinks for a moment, briefly imagining Ririsa in his mind. Then he confidently replies, "Of course, Liliel, I will never cheat." Deep down, Masamune tells himself that he only sees Ririsa because she cosplays as Liliel. Mcari then starts to leave, saying that Masamune never changes. She feels happy but also hates it. Crying, Mcari runs to the door and leaves the club room. Masamune is confused about why Mcari is crying. In the evening, Mcari is alone, talking to herself. Why can't I be honest and tell him I like him? She says it would be easy if she truly hated him. She tried to get revenge by becoming a model, but that didn't work on Masamune either. Mcari then remembers her past, where someone offered her a chance to become a model because she had a good posture and a cute face. In her heart, Mcari imagined that if she became cuter and more popular, maybe Masamune would like her. Mcari cannot forget Masamune because when she was a child, 2 boys bullied her, messing up her hair. When she couldn't do anything, Masamune came and chased the boys away. They ran away because they were disgusted by Masamune, who was a hardcore otaku. Mcari's eyes sparkled as she looked at Masamune. She then looked for Masamune's favorite manga and started reading it, fixing her hair to look like Liliel, the character Masamune idolized. Mcari then met Masamune in the park and invited him to play. At first, Masamune didn't want to, but when Mcari said she knew about the Liliel manga, Masamune changed his mind. Seeing Mcari's new, cuter appearance, the 2 boys who bullied her earlier started to like her. But Masamune protected Mcari, acting as if he were Ashford and Mcari were Liliel. While others began to like Mcari's appearance, Masamune remained the same. He was still the person Mcari liked. If Masamune changed, maybe Mcari could forget him. Mcari didn't want to betray Masamune because that would be like the 3D girls he hated. Mcari thought that Masamune must have been hurt and betrayed many times, leading him to only see Liliel. From that moment, Mcari promised never to betray him. She said that if Masamune only trusted an angel, she would become an angel for him. Until one day, Masamune turned to her and said he liked her. Mcari promised to wait as long as it took. Back in the present, Mcari blushes, feeling that not seeing Masamune for a long time has made her love him even more. But she is now calmer because Masamune has not changed. He is still the same Masamune she liked, so she doesn't have to worry about losing him to someone else. But Mcari is still confused about how to make a stubborn otaku like Masamune like her. Looking down, Mcari sees the manga club where Masamune is from the top of the building. She feels grateful but is also shocked to see a girl meeting Masamune in the room. In the manga club room, Ririsa arrives and wants to start her photo session immediately. She begins taking off her clothes. Masamune, of course, is very shocked and quickly covers the window with the blackboard as usual. Mcari runs to the manga club room and opens the door. She sees Masamune holding a camera and Ririsa posing in her Liliel costume. Unconsciously, Mcari sheds tears and starts hitting Masamune, saying he promised never to cheat on Liliel. So why is he doing this now? Mcari also notices Masamune's blushing face in front of another girl. Ririsa tries to calm Mcari, holding her hand, and says she is her classmate. Ririsa also invites Mcari to cosplay with her. Mcari then looks at Ririsa and realizes that the girl in front of her looks very much like Liliel.